put up a video. A lot of people ask me about San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato, when I'm down there. Now, I do discuss it in a lot of videos that I put up, or some on occasion, because I lived there for 6 months. And I want to talk a little bit about that to those who may be interested about San Miguel de Allende. Big expat community there, and has been for some time now. I'll tell you about my experience, why I made that decision to go there, how long I stayed there. I lived there for 6 months and really enjoyed it there. Okay, let me tell you a little bit. I was in Cuernavaca. There weren't a lot of English-speaking people at the time there, and so I was looking for another place that maybe I'll go to. Although I was interested in learning more Spanish, I wanted to go to somewhere where there were a lot of expats, and I wound up going to San Miguel de Allende. Took 4 classes in Spanish at the biblioteca. Was introduced to some Warren Hardy literature, but didn't use that at the time. I just did what my instructor told me and used that at the time. And I really loved San Miguel de Allende. A lot of expats there, a lot of nice places. It's hilly. It can get hilly in certain areas, but I used to do a lot of walking there too. But I want to tell you about the restaurants I went to and some of the history of San Miguel that I can recall. And first, I'll tell you about some great restaurants if you ever decide to go down there. But first, before I do that, I want to tell you there's a book called The Lonely Planet. This is a Mexico version. They have versions of editions of different countries. They have these books. And this one is considered the #1, says it right here in the cover, #1 best-selling guide to Mexico. And it says 100% researched and updated Mexican food feature expert recommendations. And you can find a lot here, but I'll go on and tell you. I left Cuernavaca, absolutely loved it. But wound up going to San Miguel de Allende. I got there on a Friday evening. I had a hotel Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I think by Saturday or so, and I've talked about this in other videos, I decided I wanted to stay. I was just there 1 or 2 days, and I made that decision to stay. And Monday, I went to a realtor, Realty San Miguel, and a lady named Gloria. She showed me a couple apartments, and I fell in love with this one apartment. It was beautiful. So I got that apartment, and I lived there for 6 months. But I like nightclubs, music, art, culture, a lot of art galleries over there, a lot of music, a lot of food, a lot of culture you'll find over there. But I'll tell you about a couple places in particular. I'm one to, just a couple. And there was a place called El Tupanamba, and that's on Zacatecas. There's a lot of expats and Mexican residents. They go there, mingle, and they have music, quite a bit of music. The food is excellent, and that's on Zacatecas. And then if you go down the street, because this wasn't far from where I lived, you go down the street into Ancho, down the Ancho, and you find Hecho in Mexico. Another expat favorite that's also frequented by Mexican residents. And then across the street, I can't remember the name of the place. Paprika. On the other side of the street over there is Paprika, and there is music. You're going to find all different types of music, eclectic music, great food. You'll love it there. But then I also went to other nightclubs, venues, did a lot of karaoke for those who like karaoke. Was it Blue Azul or Azul Blue? That was one place a lot of expats would like to go and do karaoke. And if they didn't do karaoke, they do a lot of socializing there. Another place was Don Lupe's. A lot of expats and Mexican residents went there also. And Don Lupe's is a great place, karaoke and other nights, great food, everything. So there's a couple spots you could hit. And then once again, I think I mentioned Head Chill in Mexico, but there's so many others I would go to. But as far as there's just a lot going on. There's literary clubs. I attended a literary club, although I'm not an author, but they have book signings, meet and greet you can meet and greet the authors, and excellent authors, and I bought a couple books there. But I'll tell you, there is an author, I can't remember his name, and he's from Guanajuato, and I remember also seeing a video from there, and I can't remember his name, but the video was titled, he has a book titled, he's from Guanajuato somewhere, it's called Better Life for Half the Price, and I haven't read that, but, I just loved going there, and so living there 6 months was quite interesting, and then I started learning, I met a lot of people, made friends there, but also the history, some of the history I can give you as far as expats going there. After the war, there were a lot of veterans that were going there. This is part of what I know. Sure, there's even more, and I do know somewhere, I just can't remember it all. But a lot of veterans were going there after the war, and they were taking art classes in San Miguel de Allende, and people started hearing it, got a lot of notice, foreigners and different people, and that attracted people too down there, attracted a lot of people. I know of a history of a man named Sterling Dickinson too. I won't get in, it's pretty long, I won't get into that right now. But there were expats going there since the war. Some very famous expats. They were, I think some of them might have been beat writers, or famous writers who became famous. They used to go to a bar called the Berlin Bar. Now, I had went and I frequented the Berlin Bar a few times. Very nice place. I don't know if it's still there, but that's where a lot of writers used to go, whether they were famous or not. They used to go over there. And I'm not a professional writer. But you have artists, writers, you have all kinds of people going down there early on when expats started finding out about it. And then I know since I left, I've read something about they had a film festival going there. The film festival, I don't know if it's still going on there because of COVID. I don't know if things changed. But they did have a film festival where, let's see, it was Gus Van Sant, director, film director. I think he's the director, of course, of Good Will Hunting. But he was given an award, some kind of award for something. I can't remember. And I believe Nicolas Cage was supposed to come at one point, but he couldn't make it because of a scheduling conflict. And this is something I read somewhere after I left San Miguel. So he couldn't make it, but there's a lot of culture, art, things going on, pique your interest, music. I want to talk about El Tupanamba real quick. El Tupanamba, I was just referring to it a little while ago, a few minutes ago. They had a gypsy jazz band. I used to go there more often, more than just Sunday nights, but on every Sunday night, they had a gypsy jazz band there. It was excellent. It was excellent. And I would say go there. If you get down, you got to see this group, hear this group. But they have a film theater there in the El Santa Hotel. Of course, I think there's one up at the mall. You got to go up the hill. I'm pretty sure there's a movie theater. I never went there. I only went to the mall occasionally. But there's a film theater, there was, I don't know if there still is, that was in the El Santa Hotel, and it was 28 seats, I counted it, and it was beautiful. They show up different movies, foreign films, Indies, Mexican films, but a lot of U.S.-made films as well, and a lot of people like to go there, so if you ever go there, you can visit that. That was open like almost every day, they had showings. So I don't know if some of these things changed, but So San Miguel has a lot going on. Now, when I rented that apartment, I had to walk up a hill to get into Central more, and it was quite a walk, and I found different routes, but you walk up, if you walk up Umaran, that's really steep, and then I found another way, they call it the spiritual pathway. Hope some of you might have been there. Spiritual pathway is a shorter way to get there, and it's really beautiful. There's a lot of yoga studios, art galleries, and yeah, San Miguel has a lot of art galleries. It's just a really cool place, and I was going to return. One time I had booked a hotel for a month. I was going to go back, and that's the Quinto Loreto Hotel. Now, that's a really good hotel. It's a budget hotel. You can get it by the month. I'm not going to tell you what the price was because it's probably went up since I last booked it. I was supposed to go back to San Miguel, but I changed my mind and went to Ajijic instead, and I canceled those plans. But yeah, I always loved San Miguel too. It's a great place to go. I would recommend going there too. And once again, this book here, I'm going to refer to this, the #1 best-selling guide to Mexico. But before I go any further with that, after I got in and started living in San Miguel, I think it was a couple weeks, my sister sent me an article, and it was from the Boston Globe. And they had said, we're talking about an article from Travel and Leisure, or Travel and Leisure was referring to San Miguel de Allende at that time anyway, and it did for a few years, is the best, smallest city in the world. Now, I don't know if it still holds that position by Travel and Leisure, but it's a good place to go. So you can go there, enjoy your time there. It's always another place to visit, whether you're in the Lakeside area or not. San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato. No, I'll tell you, I don't know if I said this a few years ago before I went to Ajijic. I saw a video on YouTube or somewhere, and it was a gentleman who lived in Guanajuato for years, and he had wrote a book. I didn't read the book, but it's called Better Life for Half the Price. And that also kind of, wow, I know I'm in the right place, but they got more people saying it. So I got to know expats area and Mexican residents, and really enjoyed the 6 months living there. I want to say, try it if you think you might want to go there. Yeah, it's a good place, and Lakeside area as well. But there are other places that expats do like to look at. And the climate there, it's a little colder, but you can get through it. It's a little colder at night. I noticed it anyway during the winter, once it got a little bit colder. Not that much, but a little bit, and that's my experience. So that's one thing people consider. But look at your temperature. WeatherSpark. Check out, and if you want to go to different towns, check out WeatherSpark. That'll give you for all the cities the temperatures by the month. It gives you the monthly temperatures, and that's one way you can check on temperatures if you're going to travel or live in somewhere in Mexico. And I do want to say one more thing, if I didn't say it already. Lonely Planet Mexico, #1 best-selling guide to Mexico. And in here it says how to use this book, and it gives you instructions. Look for these symbols to quickly identify listings for sites, beaches, activities, courses, tours, festivals and events, sleeping, eating, drinking, entertainment, shopping, and information about transport. So it's a good book. I suggest getting it, whether you get it online or you go down to your local bookstore, pick up this book, and it's about it for me. It's a long video. Adios, amigos. Thanks for viewing, and I'll see you soon.